Hello, my name is Gabri. I'm from Sarnico, Italy, and I support Sunderland.
Mame Mundle gets it back. Mundle ball in. Shot comes in.
What a goal that is!
Wilson in for He's Mundle. Nice play from Mundle. Brings in Dennis second. Referee players advantage. Wilson Isidore's up with play. Second goes himself.
Hello and welcome to another episode of Black Cats Chat, the Sunderland AFC International Fans Podcast. My name is Thirkell. I'm from the Bilbao Black Cats, and today I'm joined once again by Michael Dunne from the Irish Black Cats. Michael was at the game yesterday. Good morning, Michael.
Hi Lee, how's things? All good?
Good, mate. All good, apart from the result yesterday. But we'll carry on, won't we? We'll carry on. So, Michael, as mentioned, you were at the game yesterday. It was 2-2. But before we get into that, I want to know about your pre-match routine. What's your usual pre-match routine when you go over from Dublin?
It can change from game to game, in fairness. But yesterday, now we flew into Newcastle, and straight on the train across to the city. Met a few of the Irish lads in the Peacock before the game. So it's actually, in fairness, I barely ever go to the Peacock, but it's good crack there now. I actually really like it. So we met up with Tony Ratton, you might know as well. A keen listener of this podcast as well.
Yeah.
And we had a few pints with him and then head up to the stadium for about 2:00. As I was saying to you just before we started, we went home through Manchester last night, so we had a long day of travelling, so we had to get a few burgers in before the game as well to sober us up.
Did you get a free peas pudding sandwich from Barry at the Peacock?
I saw a few of them going around. I actually didn't get one. My mate got one all right. Yeah, I was in the toilet when they were coming out, so I just missed it, but I definitely saw them going around. They look nice, in fairness.
Yeah, no, Barry comes around every home match with a big tub and he just like hands them out. And no, it is a really
What a
good
gent.
pub.
Yeah.
Yeah, very nice. Right then, so Michael, 2-2 yesterday. I mean, it was a dream start, wasn't it? I mean, 2 goals up after, I think, what was it, 30 minutes? I think we were 2 goals up, and then, well, it just like went apart after the second half, didn't it?
Yeah.
But the first half, then the starting lineup was expected, wasn't it? Mundle and Roberts back in. It was the best 11 that we could have played, really, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think we were saying last week on this that you wouldn't have been surprised to see a bit of rotation through the week, obviously with the amount of games we had. So he went with Watson and Connolly on Wednesday, and then the two Mundle and Roberts came back in for the weekend. As you said, it's probably our strongest lineup, obviously with Joe about as well. Alan Brown started again, so I don't think there was any discussions really or controversy with the lineup. I think it was what was as expected. For the first half itself, I mean, like I thought we played okay. I think we controlled the game. Coventry didn't really threaten us too much, but Easter's goal was fantastic. I don't know how he kind of lifted his leg that high to get the shot into the corner. It was a good 1-2 with Mundle. I think it was Mundle and Alan Brown.
Yep.
And then the second goal was just it's out of this world. I remember circuit broke and I was like, just don't shoot, pass to Isidore, pass it, and then just hit it. It was unbelievable. The pace of it was incredible. At that stage, you're thinking this is going to be a lovely game. You could win 3 or 4-0. Coventry in the first half didn't look like threatening at all. But that being said, I mean, I was talking to my friend about this after the game. We looked at our XG for the game, and even though we got the 2 goals, I think it was still like 0.56 overall for the game. So like it kind of showed that we didn't really create loads of chances, even though we got the 2 goals in the first half.
Yeah, no, and that goal from Isidore, it reminded me of like a goal now Quinn would score.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? He would just like do these like just deft flicks, wouldn't he?
Yeah.
But yeah, no, it was good work from Mundle on the left, and he linked up with Brown, which is what we're trying to do, isn't it? On the wings,
Yeah.
we're trying to get those midfielders to link up with the wingers. But you not think sometimes the wingers like hug the touchline too much, and it prevents like the fullback from overlapping, because often you find Serkin going inside when you'd like him to go on the outside.
Yeah.
And you'd like Roberts and Mundle to come in. Do you not think that?
I think I was saying that to you last week as well. We didn't in the QPR game. We couldn't really get into our flow with the fullbacks even getting forward. I hadn't really thought about it like that, but it does make sense. I suppose Mundle does like to hug the touchline, and I think it's nearly easy for them to kind of double up on him the fullback, if the fullback tries to come in, he's getting marked straight away, even with the second defender there. And the form, I was a bit concerned after the game yesterday, just on that, about the form of Roberts and Mundle, really, to be honest. I thought the two of them were sort of, again, sluggish. Roberts is certainly struggling to get into form at the moment. And you're kind of looking at the team, and obviously we've Tommy Watson, but who else do you bring in those kind of occasions when those lads aren't playing well? I know we might be forced into something now with Mundle getting injured. So what you're kind of saying about the hug and the touchline, it might no harm to nearly even mix it up again and see who can come in and maybe change it up a bit, because in fact, like, whilst Mundle had a really good start to the season, Roberts has played okay at times. Neither of them are really shooting the lights out at the moment, and it might be time to mix it up a bit, because I even thought yesterday at times we did look a little bit stale or a little bit leggy.
Yeah, no, and the flip side of that though is like Mundle's like our second top scorer.
I know, yeah. I'm balancing it.
Yeah, no, and I totally agree with you, mate. I think that Mundle has been quiet, but then again, like, people saying to me, like, well, he did assist the goal yesterday,
Yeah.
and he made the
Yeah, he
touch
did.
for Serkin to go on the run as well.
Yeah.
So like I was thinking, yeah,
Being harsh.
I get, no, we are being a little harsh, but like it's just like the standards that we now expect, isn't it? Really.
Yeah.
But yeah, that first half, then, I mean, we shaded possession 51%. I mean, the first 10 minutes was like sloppy, wasn't it, from both sides?
Yeah.
I think both teams were struggling to get a grip. After that 10 minutes, though, I think we really put our foot on it, didn't we? And we got control, and we looked like scoring. And then we got the goal from Isidore, and then, as you mentioned, the goal from Serkin. He was surrounded by 6 players. He had 6 players chasing him back, and now, like, time's gone by, you just think that he's going to lose the ball, wouldn't he? He's going to pass. He's going to try and pass it. He's going to misplace a pass, or he's going to try and take them all on, and he's going to lose the ball. But to have that kind of, like, the balls, not just like take on his left foot, put it onto his path on his left foot, and just wallop it like that. That's just like confidence, isn't it?
Yeah, incredible shot. It happened so quickly as well when you're in the stadium, because it was actually, we were behind that goal, and you could see everyone you could see him coming towards us, and all the men, the sky blue jerseys chasing him back. And obviously, I said Isidore was probably over to the right hand side of him, and you're just thinking, just slide it through to Isidore. But he just had the confidence to keep going, and like, even when he hit it, he probably could have even brought it a little bit closer to the goal, but he just said, "Nah, screw it, I'm hitting it from here." And I'd say if he did that 10 times, I don't know how many times he'd actually get it in, but it was just perfect shot. And when he was hit, it just stayed hit. It was like a bullet straight in fairness, and the keeper had no chance. I don't think he was even expecting it to be hit like that.
Yeah. And then, well, half time went in 2-0. We had 4 shots on target. Was it not a bit disappointing that we only went in 2-0? That we didn't really kill them off, because we had them on the ropes, didn't we? After that second goal went in, you could see that they were just on the ground, weren't they?
Yeah. I think if we got a third before half time, it was probably like that, you couldn't see them coming back. But I mean, I always hear people say 2-0 is a dangerous lead, and it is definitely, like, because I could see, like, what's he saying? Yeah, we were 2-0 up, and I just said it earlier. Like, I didn't really think that we were creating loads. Like, we had loads of possession of the ball, but we had no really clear-cut chances. Like, if you look back, did Isidore maybe have like a half volley or something
Yeah, outside of his foot, a snapshot.
Yeah, I that's just from my recollection is the only shot I can really remember in the first half. So, like, yeah, it was frustrating. We probably didn't do more with the ball, but 2-0 at half time, I was just thinking, if we come out early second half, get a third, and just finish this off. But we'll probably get into it now. But I think the way we started the second half was just, we kind of lost control. I don't know if it was sluggishness, tiredness, too composed, thinking we had the game done. Like, yeah, getting the third would have killed it off, but leaving Coventry a chance there 2-0, like, he just gave them an opportunity just to go with it, and they probably just didn't, like, they were just like, we'll go for it now. We're 2-0 down. What do we have to lose?
Yeah,
and it nearly played into their hands a little bit.
Well, and apart from that, is that their confidence is already on the ground, isn't it? Because they lost the manager after 7 years. You know what I mean? During the
Exactly.
week, they're 2-0 down against top of the league team. Like, fair play to them for actually making a go of it and coming back. But from our part, it was really disappointing that we just, as soon as the whistle went off, you could see that they had a spring in their step, and we were just kind of like slow from the off. And there was a couple of like stoppages, which kind of like affected the flow of the game. But you could tell that that the next goal that was going to be scored would probably be by them. And then
Yeah.
it did happen, didn't it? It happened. Was it Haji Wright on 62?
You're right. Yeah.
It was a bit of pinball, wasn't it? Really, we just couldn't get it out. I think it took a deflection off Alan Brown and it went in his
Yeah.
path.
Yeah.
And it beat Simon Moore at his near post. I mean, do you reckon Moore could have done a bit better, or was it just like?
Yeah, I saw it back there last night, and it did go at his near post. Like, I mean, but at the same time, I suppose he hit it well. Right, in fairness, it was a good finish, and it was quite quick, like in terms of the pace of the shot. But it was the sloppiness, I say, in the lead up to it. Like, it was just kind of going back and forth. No one was. It sort of summed up the second half from our perspective in midfield, where I felt none of our midfielders really took control of the game. Where you just had someone who could, get the ball, play it 5 yards to the right, get it back left, just control it, slow it down, play it on our terms. I think I was a little bit disappointed with, say, the likes of Neil and Alan Brown, the lads who are your leaders really in the midfield there, that they couldn't just control the game a bit better. And as you said, obviously you can give credit to Coventry, but I think if we controlled the start of the second half a bit better in midfield, and I felt like when we had the ball, we were sort of it's just our youthful enthusiasm and stuff that we just wanted to attack the whole time and keep going forward and driving at them. But there's times when you sort of just need to slow it down and have a player in midfield who you can rely on just to take the heat out of the game. And if you go into, whilst we might, if we don't score, say, even in the second half, if we go 20-25 minutes without conceding, 15 to go, you think it's going to sort of suck the energy out of Coventry. But what we did was just maybe a little bit of naivety, that we kind of let them back into it, and the goal came from sort of lack of control. And as you said there, a ricochet off Brown, which obviously was unfortunate. O'Nien kind of got caught wrong side of his man. He got turned easily enough, and the shot was hit well. In fairness, it was a good goal.
Yeah.
And then the 2-1, you're just thinking, just slow, again, will someone just slow the game down for us and can we get some control? But we just lacked it completely in the second half.
Yeah. I mean, Regis Lebris has talked about in previous interviews about being proactive and not reactive. Do you think that he could have made maybe some changes before that, because it was like it was coming, and it was like
Yeah.
the 62nd minute, and you saw like the first 50 minutes of the second half, we're not at it. Like we need something different. We need to have a change. And then he did make the changes eventually, but it was after the first goal. But then he decided to bring Dan Ballard on,
Yeah.
which I thought was like a baffling decision, because if we're winning 2-1, but they're on the ascendancy, it's just going to push us even further back.
Yeah.
And so that didn't really make sense. And then, listen, I like Aaron Connolly. I think he's a good player, but I don't think he was the right fit for that match yesterday coming on, because we moved Isidore from the up front to the left. Connolly came on, and he's a little lad. You know what I mean? He's a little lad. He's nippy, but he's not going to be able to control long balls, which is what we were doing, because we were sat so deep, and we were just like playing long balls up to him, and it was just coming back. And like
Yeah.
I've got fans on social media like criticizing him what's on Connolly for, but I don't think you can blame him for yesterday. I think it was just like the wrong match for him.
Yeah, it was the same. I didn't see much of the Preston game on Wednesday when he started, but it was the same last week at QPR, where like when he comes on, you're hitting long balls up to him, and like as you said, there's absolutely no chance he's going to do anything. And as well as that, like you look at Isidore as well, he looks half the player when he goes out to the wing. He's just, I don't understand where, when we got him, people were saying no, he's a left of kind of a front three, and I think he's now centre forward through the middle. Like, I mean, I don't understand why we put him out there, because he doesn't work hard enough, I don't think, in the position, and he doesn't have the skill set sort of to take a man on and get across. And so yeah, I thought the Connolly kind of substitution was a bit random, whilst putting Isidore to the left, and then Ballard obviously said it's sort of letting Coventry come on to us, sort of saying, well, we're going to sit back, you can attack us. But I think it also shows that maybe with Job suspended now as well, like, I mean, he clearly doesn't seem to trust Alexic to come on. I think he was on the bench yesterday,
Yeah.
to come on in midfield. So maybe we're lacking someone in midfield, like another experienced player, or just someone who can put their foot in the ball and control the game. So I think nearly the substitutions are nearly showing where our lack of options, especially in the middle, to change it up, because it seems to me that Connolly is always the first choice sub in every game, no matter what the circumstances are. And I mean, I think he has something, but he hasn't really showed it yesterday. And I think it's the games he's coming on, and as you said, aren't suiting the sort of player he is So, I mean, that could be something we need to look at. I mean, you've got Job to come back. I know we have this midfielder, Salis. I know nothing about him, but he seems to be got a bit of pedigree about him. So I think we're lacking the midfield options, and I think now we've got a couple more injuries and suspensions going into Millwall, so he's going to have to mix it up somehow. I don't know what he's going to do, but midfield seems to me an issue suddenly without a few lads in the team or available.
Yeah, no, because like Job and Brown left the stadium on crutches yesterday, apparently, so that doesn't look good. So, but yeah, the Alexic one is a funny one because if we paid like 3.5 million for him, and he's not exactly a replacement for Ekwa. I'd say probably Brown is more of a replacement for Ekwa, but still, if you're paying that much money for him and you put him on the bench, you'd expect to kind of have seen him so far. But I mean, we haven't seen him at all. And then the other option is Harrison Jones. I mean, Harrison Jones looks a good player, but is he going to be ready for that type of game yesterday? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then on the wing, I mean, I was thinking like Watson, yes, but would he be ready for that type of game when like they've just scored? You winning 2-1, they've just scored. They're on the ascendancy. We're going to be defending a little bit. We need to kind of weather the storm. Is Tommy Watson that person? And I don't think he is.
Yeah.
So I would have gone maybe with, I don't know, maybe it's like putting Mayenda on the left wing, or even Rusin, just someone with a bit more, I don't know, a bit more height, a bit more aggression.
I think
But
I think I nearly would have gone with Meander through the middle. I nearly would have taken Isidore off, and maybe if you're bringing Connolly on, you put him on the wing because he's got pace. But like, I mean, as you're saying, the ball wasn't sticking with Connolly. Like, so Meander surely would have been the better option for someone who's a bit of a physical presence, who can chase and harry and could hold the ball up a bit more when we're sort of under pressure. But like, you had Connolly there who just couldn't get his foot in the ball, and you had no one in midfield who could control it. I actually thought we might have gone with O'Nien in midfield just for the last 20. I mean, I don't really rate O'Nien as a midfielder, but I think he can do a job, especially in the last 20, even with his experience alongside Daniel. But I did kind of question the three at the back because it just sort of like let Coventry come on to us a bit, and I actually thought Ballard looked very rusty as well when he came on. So
yeah,
I think Labrie definitely made a couple of decisions that I would have questioned. And in fairness, it probably would be only one of the first times I've questioned some of his calls, so I'll let him off for this one. But he's going to have to mix it up now based on the options we have. So it's going to be interesting to see how he kind of lines us up against Millwall after the international break.
yeah, no, because when he brought Ballard on, obviously because we were losing a midfielder, that takes away the control of the midfield because we're down to two men, and like you've got Chris Rigg and Dan Neil like holding the fort, and they just couldn't get a grip of it. They were just like they were just chasing shadows, weren't they? Right then, so on the 84th minute, the inevitable happened, and across from the left wing, and you think we've got three defenders there, three central defenders, and they still get a header in, and it's at the back post. I think Dennis Cirkin was just like caught flat, wasn't he? He was just like he wasn't ready for it. Jack Radoni had the run on him, and he just got above him and like basically attacked it like Cirkin would, wouldn't he? Cirkin would have scored that goal as well. So it was disappointing, wasn't it, to kind of concede that goal when we have three defenders on the pitch? Do you not think?
Yeah, it was, and it was probably coming. In fairness, you could see the pressure building slightly, and as we just spoke about, we were kind of letting them build that pressure on us. We weren't really getting control of it, so it was backs against the wall a little bit, and yeah, we had numbers there, but like no one seemed to be tracking the runner of the. I can't remember the name he scored. It was a centre half, number 5. You got. Did you say it was Radoni? Is it the second goal?
He wasn't the centre half. He was like the midfielder, I think, wasn't
Oh,
it?
yeah.
Radoni, Jack Radoni.
Sorry, yeah. And he kind of made a late darting run in, and no one picked him up. It seemed just to be a complete lack of communication between defenders, especially as you said, we have the 3 centre halves, and no one picks him up. So it kind of summed up the second half really in a lot of ways, like the lack of communication, lack of control, lack of sort of leaders, like someone taking the game by the scruff of the neck. And I think maybe the cross could have been stopped a bit earlier as well. He was let get the cross in easy enough as well. So a lot of questions to be asked, like of the defence yesterday for that goal as well. I'm sure they'll be talking about it afterwards, but I mean, you could see no one else scoring other than Coventry once they went 2-1 down, and as I said, the pressure built, and then we just completely lost ourselves at the back.
Well, there was that chance as well when Isidore got through, which is like basically how Alan Brown got injured
Yeah.
because I think he made a block, didn't he? Or the ball came back, and Isidore was like 1-on-1 with the keeper, and it was a bit similar to a bit similar to the Hull goal, wasn't it? That he just got 1-on-1. The keeper was way out of his
Oh
box,
yeah, yeah, yeah,
and you
yeah.
just think like, just
It's
like,
close enough.
yeah, I mean, the keeper just like blocked it, didn't he? Because he tried to lift it over him. I was thinking, it's like, rather than lift it over him, just like touch it past him because he's going full throttle. So
Yeah,
if you kick it, 10 yards in front of him on the floor, there's no way he's going to catch it because
yeah,
he's just full throttle. So he tries to lift it over him, and obviously the keeper blocks it. But I think that was like a crucial point as well, wasn't it? Because I think was that a 2-1? I think I don't know if it was a 2-1
would
or
have been, yeah.
2-2, and that would have been a killer goal. So that was disappointing as well. And actually, the guy who scored their goal, Jack Radoni, like we tried to sign him in our first season of the Championship because he was playing at Wimbledon, I think it was AFC Wimbledon, and he went to Huddersfield instead. And every time he plays against us, he either scores or he has a corker of a game.
Yeah,
So
it's a Sunderland way.
yeah, typically happens, isn't it? Right then. So well, I mean, listen, we can't complain because we are 31 points after 15 games, and we are top of the league. And we
Mm.
will be top of the league unless like Sheffield United beat Sheff Wed by 4 goals, I think it is today. So listen, all things considered, I think we are doing well, aren't we? I mean,
Yeah,
we listen, it's frustrating that we've like missed an opportunity to put more points on the board against 3 teams at the bottom. Considering we had like 3 wins last week and we got 3 draws. But I think, listen, we are in a good place. Because I think I'm looking at it now, we've got 17 points from 21 at home, which
yeah,
is
it's very
quite
good.
good,
Yeah,
and then 14 points from 24
yeah,
away. And we're actually the top form team away from home. And
yeah,
here we are like kind of like being a bit judgmental about the away performances. So it's horses for courses, isn't it? Um, but yeah, and apart from that, the goals we're joint top of the goal scoring chart with 25. We've conceded 11, which is like the sixth best record. So it's
mm,
madness, isn't it, that we're sixth best in the conceded, but like we've got 9 clean sheets in 15. So
yeah,
it's weird how the stats pan out, isn't it?
yeah. I think what you're saying there is sort of I think it's a sign of how far we've come that we're sort of playing Coventry and we're getting frustrated with the draw. But I think it's just the way the game panned out, where we went 2-0 up with 2 incredible goals and sort of just completely let them back into the game. I think that's probably the frustration of people. But like, I mean, if you take stock now after like a third of the season gone, this international break, you would have bitten your hand off where we are. We're in a really good position. Now, we must be mindful that we definitely have a few more difficult games coming up away to Millwall and Sheffield United. You know, you might be looking at, say, Christmas time where we've gone away to those teams and picked up a couple of defeats, and then you might regret some of the draws we got earlier. But I mean, as we stand now, you can't be complaining too much where we are. I think the biggest disappointment yesterday is it just was a game we should have won, really. And look, all you can do now at this stage is hope that they learn from it, and maybe Labrie might tweak a few things. Um, like, I mean, away from home, we look so solid. We look like we never really are going to concede goals. A little bit. I was a little bit concerned in the last few games. Just I thought our attacking play was a bit more sort of, I don't know, unstructured or just like disconnected. Like it just didn't look as flowing as it was maybe a couple of weeks earlier. But like a lot of these lads are playing a lot of football sort of for the first time. Like you look at Rig and Mundell and Eastor's only into the team. I mean, maybe they need a break. I mean, I think the international break is probably coming at a good time for us again because we're picking up a few injuries. So you're kind of hoping that maybe some of these injuries aren't too bad, and then you give these lads a bit of a rest. But you can't really be complaining. I think we've set the bar high for ourselves with our start now that we're expecting more from us. But you can't be complaining where we are really in the overall scheme of things.
Yeah. Do you think like maybe it's like the 3 draws this week have just come from an accumulation of games, a run of games, and that the players are just like a bit knackered because we did have 4 out of 5 on the road, didn't we?
Yeah, I
Um,
think I think we would have looked. You looked at the draws. You draw QPR with 10 men. You draw with Preston on Wednesday, who I think are a hard enough game to go to. If you win yesterday, you're looking at it going, well, look, you drew your away games and you win at home. There's no real complaints, like, but I think It's just that second half that's probably just annoying a few people now afterwards, that we let an easy enough 2-0 lead slip away. And that's probably, like, I mean, if you twisted it and said we came back from 2-0 down with 2 corkers in the second half to draw the game, it's the way the narrative is sort of transpires. Like, it changes the way people look at it, I suppose.
Yeah, which raises the question. I mean, like, should we have rotated the squad a bit more, or not rotated, but just like give more players minutes on the pitch? For example, like in the Oxford game, I think would have been the perfect chance to give Alexic some minutes. You know what I mean? So like we're going to kind of be putting these players in cold, aren't we? Because
Yeah.
we have to. We've got no other choice. And there are these players like Rig, Job, Neil. I mean, Mundle and Roberts have had a little bit of a break, but the back four have been playing every game. Isidore's been playing every game. I think like they needed a bit of a break, and I think we needed like to get more squad players on the pitch to give them that taste. Um, but anyway, we've dropped points this season. Then these are the teams we've dropped points against. We lost against Plymouth and Watford away. I mean, the Plymouth game was again in our control. We were winning 1-0 at half time, and then we got beat 3-2. And then the Watford game, I think, was just like a write-off. We didn't turn up. And then obviously the draws that we've had were QPR, Preston, and yesterday. We got a lucky draw against Leeds, which we all know about. And then our wins were Oxford, Luton, Hull, Derby, Borough, Portsmouth, Burnley, Sheffield, and Cardiff. I mean, there are some like good wins in there. And I think like the expectation comes from that the fact that we've beat Borough, we've beat Burnley, we thumped Sheffield, we got a win away at Luton. Do you know what I mean? I think like the expectation rises when you get to those levels and you beat those teams, and then you drop points against likes of Plymouth, QPR, Preston, Coventry, who are struggling at the bottom of the table. So I think that's where the frustration comes from, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah. As I said, I think it's just the bar has been set high now, and we're expecting more from the team in terms of where we are because of the results we've achieved so far. But like, you got to look at the league as a whole. It seems very open. Like, everyone seems to be able to beat everyone on their day. I don't think there's going to be one outstanding team that's going to run away with the league. I mean, I said there that I think we're going to struggle against Millwall and Sheffield United, but then, like, I mean, if we go beat them, I won't be surprised either. I think it's going to be a bit open. I think like the automatic positions on the top 6 generally, I don't think there'll be a lot of points between any of those teams, but I think we're right in the mix. Like, we're definitely obviously in a massive shout of going up now, but I think there's going to be loads of games like this where we might go a couple of draws, a win, a loss. It's just going to be an inconsistent season in terms of results. I think it's just a team who can maybe find form or pick up a few wins at the right times throughout the season that will be the difference. So, I mean, I'm not getting too worried with the past week, but I'd be more concerned with the injuries we've got now going into the next run of games that could maybe impact us more so.
Yeah, well, as you mentioned before, Michael, the international break is now with us. It gives us a 2-week break to reset, but as you mentioned, we've got a tough run of games. We've got Millwall away, West Brom at home, and then Sheffield United away. And that's the Saturday, Tuesday, Friday job. That's not an ideal run of games, is it not, in 6 days?
No, and Sheffield United and Millwall are probably the two of the toughest away games you could get.
Mm.
Um, like, I mean, I don't know where we're going to be really with the players because it seems to be so many injuries and a few suspensions as well. But you'd be looking at that and hoping, like, I'd say now I'm fully expecting us to lose one of those away games. I think Bramall Lane will be very tough. The Den is tough. We tend to pick up a couple of the last few games. We picked up draws there, so I'd be happy enough with a draw at Millwall, and hopefully maybe if we can get a win against West Brom and see where we are then. But you look, there's going to be times where we're going to be under the cosh because these teams will be kind of expecting to beat us as well at home. So we'll just see what we come. I think we have to just see where the injuries are. I mean, you're saying about Brown being on crutches. I know Hume and Roberts are suspended now as well. So there is going to be opportunities given to other players. So you're just hoping that they can step up to it now when the pressure is on, because obviously it is a squad game. Such a long season with so many fixtures so quick. Like,
Yeah, well, I mean, it does look like that we could be without 5 players.
yeah,
So we could be, we'll definitely be without Job, Hume, and Roberts because they're suspended for
yeah,
Millwall. Mundle, it looked like his hamstring yesterday, so you're talking there like what, a month, 2 months possibly. And
yeah,
then Brown leaving on crutches leaves us very short. So yesterday, Michael, I put out on social media a little poll. saying like with the injuries and suspensions and Labrisse's reluctance to use Alexic, should we be considering bringing Alshish and Bar back into the squad?
Yeah.
And it was like 50-50, eh? Because I put like 4 options. I put both should be in the squad, only Alshish, only Bar, neither should be in the squad. And 38% said both should be in the squad, 36 said neither should return, and then Alshish 21%, and then only Bar 5%. So
Poor Bar.
it's like it is like a split, isn't it, between the fan base over them? But I think like needs must, surely, right? I mean, if we're not going to play Alexic and Harrison Jones, and you've got two lads who have like got championship experience playing in the under 21s, and we're paying their wages, I think we have to kind of consider them, don't we?
Yeah, I think you have a thing for Ashish and Bar. You were bringing this up last week as well.
Not
Yeah,
necessarily, mate. I mean, like
I'm only
bars of,
joking.
I think like listen, I think neither of them kind of like suit the way we play because
No, they don't. Yeah, yeah.
we've changed from like playing with a number 10, like the old like Pritchard days, and
Mm.
how she's just number 10. We've gone away from that now. But I think like we just need to kind of think outside the box and like get
And
players in who
I'd
have
say they get a chance.
experience.
I'd say they'll get a chance. I said this last week. I thought Sheech might have been involved, but I think you gotta, as I said, I think you gotta wonder what's going on behind the scenes that these lads can't even get a look in, and the young lads are getting on the bench ahead of them. So, um, it's hard to see. I nearly won't be surprised if they bring some of the academy lads in and give them opportunities ahead of Ashish and Ba. But Ashish, I think Ashish is a decent enough player. I don't really rate Ba as much. I think he's just a bit of a headless chicken and gives the ball away way too much. Like, he sort of lacks discipline, especially in a team where Labrie is all about discipline. So you could see a role for Ashish in the next few games. I doubt Ba will get a look in. To be honest, he hasn't even got. I think he's been on the bench maybe once all season. Like, so
Yeah.
you can see him coming in at this stage.
I think like with Bar, I think there is a kind of a player there, but he's just not consistent enough. But I don't think it helps that he's been kind of like shifted everywhere. I mean, he's played
Yeah,
number 10, he's played defensive midfield, he's played midfield, he's played left, he's played right.
yeah,
And I think that when we signed him originally, he was like a kind of like a centre midfielder.
yeah,
Because if you look at these like highlights reels on YouTube with famous highlights reels, he was like kind of picking the ball in the midfield and then driving forward.
yeah, yeah,
And we've never really seen him in that role for Sunderland. It's either been on the wings or as the number 10.
yeah,
I
yeah,
mean, one goal that stands out for me with Bar is like the goal against Norwich away, where he picked up the ball and he ran and he scored with his left foot. And then the next game, he's either been dropped or he's been moved out position. So
yeah,
I
yeah.
think, yeah, it's a case of like him, well, not being consistent, but I think it's also like him being like shifted everywhere. Um, right then, so what are we going to next? We got the wingers because we got Robertson Mundle out. Who comes in? Do we bring Watson? Tommy Watson goes left, and I mean, who plays right? I mean, Poveda doesn't look like he's going to be ready. I mean, do we go with Rusin? I mean,
Yeah. I'd say you won't be surprised if you see Conley maybe going up on one of the wings and maybe Watson on the other. Or like he might completely change the lineup completely. He might go two up top. He might go um you might even bring one of the full. You might go 3-5-2 again, like he did at the end. You might go two wing backs instead. You wouldn't really know what he'd do, but like we don't really have many options. Like as he said, if he doesn't bring Ba and Oshish involved, you're left with Watson and then Rusin and Conley and maybe Mienda. Like I mean, we actually don't really have many out and out wingers. So I think you're probably looking at maybe more of a formation change completely. As you said, horses for courses. So you might have to mix it up just with the players at his disposal for the next few games.
yeah. Throw this out to you. Do we miss Pierre Ekwa, and was it a mistake getting rid of him?
No, I don't think we miss him at all. I don't think he'd suit our team completely at all. Like Echo was good on his day, but I think once he got that injury, was it mid last season, he just never came back the same player. He was look, he doesn't like. I was at the Preston Cup game there in August, and you're watching him on the pitch, and he just doesn't work hard enough, like for a midfielder. Like he's very good. He's a very good distributor of the ball, and he can get a goal and he good tackle. Sometimes he just walks around for 15, 20 minutes. Like he seems too relaxed for his own good. Like no, I don't think he'd suit. I don't think he'd suit our team at all now. Decent player, but probably just wasn't up to the standard that we're kind of setting for ourselves now.
Yeah, and I put another poll out on X or Twitter, and 61% said no, we don't miss him.
Yeah.
So I think that kind of sums it up. But yeah, I kind of got that impression because I was in Murcia in pre-season in Spain, and you saw that his attitude wasn't the same. You could tell that something was up, and
Yeah.
he got injured in one of the games as well. So you thought that yeah, his time is up. Right, final thing then. We've been linked with a move for Jordan Henderson in January. Is that just like wishful thinking, paper talk, or do you think it's a real possibility that we could sign him?
Yeah, I was like talking to my friend about this actually at the game yesterday, and before the game I was like, do we really need someone like him? I mean, I wonder if it's a possibility. It probably is. I'd say Henderson would like to come back, especially for top of the league and could potentially go into the Premier League. But we were sort of saying, like, is his signing sort of going to stop the progression of a younger lad coming through? But after the game yesterday, you're thinking 25 minutes, half or 30 minutes to go there, bring Henderson on, put him in the middle of the park, let him control the game. There is probably something to be said for another experienced player, because if you look maybe in our midfield, our experienced player is supposedly Alan Brown. Don't think Alan Brown has the sort of personality or ability to take a game by the scruff of the neck and control proceedings from the centre of midfield. So I wouldn't be against the signing, to be honest. I wonder how much money he's looking for, because we definitely won't be breaking our wage structure for him. But his move to Saudi is probably secured enough financially, so I don't think he needs the money. It depends. I'd say it sort of depends how much he wants it. I'd say the club would probably entertain the idea of it, given their squad is so young. But there's probably a lot of things to sort out there for a move like that to actually transpire.
Yeah, and I think this has only come about, hasn't it, really, because of Samed not being fit
Yeah.
since he joined.
Forgetting about him.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like we've forgotten about him completely, and we don't realize that he's got Champions League experience. But I mean, when are we going to see him? I mean, I think Lebris said probably end of November. So it's looking like that he won't be ready for any of the next 3 games, which is like, yeah, it's a bit of a concern. But anyway, Michael, we are still top of the league, so we have got like something to be cheerful about. You know what I mean? We have 31 points, but like this last week has been a bit disappointing. We just need to hope that the lads can kind of like get patched up, regroup, and then for the next run of 3 games that we try and like pick up as many points as possible, because it is a very tough run, isn't it?
Yeah, as I said, just injuries are going to come costly now. So I'd be happy in the next 3 if we can get a win, a draw, and a defeat, to be honest, because it's going to be really difficult. Millwall and Sheffield United away from home, seriously difficult games. So let's just see where we are after the international break. I think we can all take a break for a week or 2 and just relax. And as you said, we're still top of the table, so it's reasons to be cheerful too.
Absolutely, absolutely. Right, Michael, thank you very much for your time this morning. Enjoy the international break. Who have Ireland got? Do you know?
Finland and England and Wembley. So I don't know if I have too many reasons to be cheerful. We might be okay against Finland, but I won't be talking much about that game at Wembley. It'll be another hammering.
All right, mate. Well, enjoy the break, and I'll see you again soon. All right. Thanks a lot. How are the lads?
Hello. My name is Gian Pietro. I am from Bergamo, and I support Sunderland forever.